Tudor Dixon is a Republican candidate for Michigan governor. And I want to make this point. She is the daughter of a steel industry worker, grew up around factories her whole life, and she specifically understands the pressure on working class laborers and the people who depend on them. Tudor Dixon is in focus now. Welcome.
Thanks, Harris.
First of all, talk to me about reviewing the impact of Line 5 and the deep concern that some like yourselves have that this could lead to something more.
Yeah, Michiganders right now are wondering, is Joe Biden going to bow to the radical progressives and endanger them this winter? Or will he fight against these extremists and their make-believe environmental issue? Because a lot of people aren't talking about what this really means for the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. 1 in 5 homes is heated by propane. These are our working class Americans, our working class Michiganders in the UP. That propane, 100% of it comes from Line 5. This just-in-time energy has got to be there for our people who live in an area that is below freezing for months out of the year. And Harris, we're going into those months right now. That energy secretary you just spoke of, that's a former governor of Michigan. And here she is laughing about the fact that this could put people in a situation that endangers their lives.
Do you think the White House sees you?
Absolutely. They see Michigan. You mean Michigan as a state?
What you're going through, what workers are facing right now. Do you think that the White House sees you and your concerns?
No, I think the White House, I mean, look, this is a president who just fell asleep in the climate summit. So how does he even understand what a climate issue could be in Michigan? This is a White House that is only seeing this progressive agenda. We've seen that with the inflation that we're going through. We've seen that with these infrastructure bills. So no, I don't think that this White House sees working class Americans across the country, not just Michigan. This White House has gone out and they're destroying international relationships. Harris, I'm old enough to remember when we were told that Donald Trump was destroying international relationships and Joe Biden was a foreign policy expert. Now, not only is he not seeing Americans, but he's made Justin Trudeau mad. This is the prince of environmentalists who's angry with us, saying, hey, we're going to invoke a 1977 pipeline transit treaty to make sure that we have this pipeline open. So we're not seeing our neighbors. We're certainly not seeing our actual citizens here in the country.
All right, I want to get to this because we just heard that pipeline worker lay out what closure would mean for consumers, and it would have a devastating effect on the overall economy over 4 states, actually. So this isn't just about Michigan and the upper Midwest. This is about kind of a down-the-chain effect. And look at the loss of jobs, 33,755. Tudor Dixon, talk to me about the numbers that I'm hoping you can see on the screen, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar with.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking at losing jobs again across the Midwest where we've already been hit hard. We already have, look at Michigan. You have a situation where just in Michigan alone, you've had our automotive makers shut down, which is hurting all of our suppliers because we have supply issues coming in from overseas with these chips. So now we're talking about getting rid of more jobs for an environmental issue that is not there, because Enbridge has said we'll put $500 million into this pipeline to ensure that it is safe. This environmental issue doesn't exist, and yet we're going to put more jobs in the United States at risk to appease environmental radicals.
One last question on this. I'm wondering if this has been expedited, because normally when the federal government studies something, heck, it's years. But this got critical quickly. Your last thought on that, and then we'll move on.
100%. This is because the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, came in and said, hey, this is on a Michigan easement. I'm giving this to you. Now I'm going to take it away just like that. No studies done. I'm going to take it away just like that. And I'm going to seize any profits that the company makes if you try to continue with no plan for heating our homes.
A lot to get into. Let's move on to inflation. Not a cheerier subject by far. For the 12th consecutive month, inflation is up, and a new study shows it does not look like that will change anytime soon. Americans are worried. across the board. A recent Fox poll finding 87% of voters are very or extremely concerned about inflation, topping the list of their concerns. And with the 2022 midterm elections in sight to decide who controls the Senate and House, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says this issue of inflation will have a huge impact.
I want to ask for a show of hands of how many of you have been to the grocery store lately and noticed what's going on here. The price of everything is going through the roof. The American people basically said last Tuesday, stop. Enough is enough.
Tudor, this is a layering effect on people.
Yes, absolutely. They are going to the grocery store and saying enough is enough. Remember this Build Back Better plan when you had the Biden administration out there bragging about 16-cent savings for 4th of July? How embarrassing. At that time, we were saying, are we being punked by this administration that they're cheering on 16 cents for a meal? Well, let's fast forward to Thanksgiving because we're looking in some areas of the country at that $1.50 per pound turkey from last year going up to $3 a pound. This is hurting people across the country. It's hurting the working class people the most. And again, I go back to this pipeline because you had your own energy secretary, Jennifer Granholm, again, a former governor of Michigan, saying this is going to be one of the worst winters we've ever seen for heating costs. And yet she's not stepping up and saying, protect the people of my home state.
And those other 4 states and potentially more.
Yes.
You know, we saw this with the Keystone Pipeline. The president did this on his, you know, one of the initial things that he did was to wipe that away. So there is precedent for this administration to target something like this. That's why we pay such huge attention. Tudor Dixon, a pleasure to have you in focus. Come back and keep us updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.